Today I feel like singing, so I'm going to do the OMG This Song book tag. I first saw this book tag on a channel called A Dash of Ash, and as far as I can tell, the creator of this book tag is another channel called Kate's Book Date. It's 9 questions where you have to answer them both with a song and with a book, so let's jump into it. First question is called My Jam, so pick a song that you have to listen to no matter how many times you've heard it before, and pick a book that you'll never get sick of. The song for that was Bad Habit by Carousel Kings, and the book is going to be We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. I read this book earlier this year. I absolutely fell in love with it. I would probably read it like 50 more times if I had the chance for absolutely no reason at all. I just had a really strong connection to this book, and it quickly became one of my favorites. I didn't even know anything about it until I saw my friend Shannon reading it, and I just looked at this and thought, well, it's going to be a total cover buy, and then it ended up being so much more. Question number 2 is Throwback. So pick a song that reminds you of the craziest time in your life, and pick a book that you're not sure you would enjoy if you read it again. The song was Hero by Skillet, and the book is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. Whenever I first picked up this book, I feel like I was in a pretty particular place, I guess, whenever I read it, and I fell in love with it, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really well done. I mean, I flew through this book. It's probably like, I don't know, 300-400 pages. It's like 350 pages. I flew through it in like maybe 2 days. I'm not even sure. I read it every second I could while I was at work. And because I loved it so much, I don't know if I ever want to read it again, just in case it's not as good as I remember it being. So question 3 is repeat. So pick a recent song that you have on repeat and pick a recent book that you've read that's one of your favorites. The song was The Art of Anesthesia by Say We Can Fly, and the book is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This is a book of verse that I recently read. I believe that this is this author's first book, and she has another one scheduled to come out in about a year called The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, and the books just have little different pieces of verse on them. I thought that this was really interesting. I also flew right through it. It's not very long, but I enjoyed it a lot. The next question is Gets Me, so pick a song that literally gets you and pick a book that is you in book form. The song is The House That Built Me by Miranda Lambert, and the book is The First Time She Drowned by Carrie Clutter. So this book is about a girl named Cassie. She goes off to her first year of college and basically ends up facing the unknown on her own. She spent a lot of her childhood being surrounded with some important people who basically gaslit her throughout most of it, and now she is sort of abandoned on her own, trying to figure out how to make it in college. I really related to this book because I know what it's like to have people gaslight you, and whenever I went to college for the very first year, I ended up not knowing a single person on that university. I went away for school, so I was on my own, and I kind of just had to figure it out. Question 5 is what? A weird song that you liked anyway, and a unique book that stuck out to you. The song was You're My Superhero, and the book is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. There is something outside, and if you see it, you either kill yourself or end up killing other people. So the protagonist in this book has to go through the whole entire book, navigating, the world with her eyes shut, and she takes her two small children to try to find like a safe place, like a safe indoor place where people have gathered so that they can, get away from whatever it is that's out there that's causing people to basically lose their minds. I've never had a book told where you couldn't have one of the senses included, and I think that Josh Malerman did a fantastic job describing the different things that the character went through in this book, even though he was down a sense when he was doing it. Question 6 is Let Go, so pick your favorite pump-up song and pick a book that inspires you. The song was Today I Saw the Whole World by Pierce Savale, which is one of my favorite artists of all time, and the book is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This book is told in 4 parts in one book, so it is about a girl who goes from her freshman year to her senior year. During her freshman year, she is sexually assaulted, and this is all about her story and basically learning how to speak the truth about what happened to her, learning how to trust and open up to people again, and learning what it means to take a stand for herself in regards to the aftermath of what happened to her. Question 7 is chill, so pick a song that is very chill or relaxing for you, and pick a book that you would curl up with on a rainy day. The song was Lost Boy by Ruth B, and the book that I picked for this is Rumble by Ellen Hopkins. I happened to actually read this book while it was raining. It's written just like all of her other YA books, so it's written in verse here. This story happens to be a book about a boy named, I think his name is Matthew. It's his story in the aftermath of his brother completing a suicide. His brother was bullied in school, and this led to a suicide, and now Matt is sort of trying to pick up the pieces whenever he feels like he doesn't have faith in anything anymore because of what happened to his little brother. And the question becomes, you know, how can he move on from this? You know, how can he make peace with what has happened, and what if, you know, the person he needs to forgive the most is himself? Question 8 is called Addicting, so pick a guilty pleasure song and quick a guilty pleasure or quick or light or trash book, basically. So I went with Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato, and no lie, I kind of really love listening to Demi Lovato, and I don't really care if anybody thinks that it's pop trash, because it's not. And the book that I'm choosing is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. Whew, I think I actually said it right that time. I just finished reading this book. I actually intentionally picked this book up because I knew it was going to be a light, quick read. It was right after I had just finished reading 3 high fantasy books, and I basically wanted a book that I wasn't really going to have to put a lot of thought into while I was reading it. So this was a YA contemporary. It was a very light YA contemporary. That doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it, because I really did. I think that I gave it 4 stars, but it was pretty much just like a light, fluffy read, and it was exactly what I needed at the moment. So the final question is nostalgia, so pick a throwback song that you look upon fondly, and pick a book that reminds you of your childhood. And for this one, you are definitely going to get 2 songs and 2 books, because who is tired of seeing me lip sing? Actually, probably everybody, but here you go. The Mixtape by Jack's Mannequin, and this is Gospel by Panic at the Disco. Two books that remind me of my childhood, so it could be really, I just picked one of the ones to hold up for this, but any of the Harry Potter books by J.K. Rowling. One of the very first books that I ever started reading was this book. I was in like the 3rd grade whenever I read it, and I literally grew up with Harry Potter. The other book that I'm going to choose for this is The Complete Adventures Tales of Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. I have a soft spot for Winnie the Pooh in my heart. You know, my parents got me this book. I had it whenever I was very, very small, probably like 4 or 5 or something like that, and I have had it in my possession ever since. In case you're wondering, Youre is my favorite character. So now that I have sufficiently embarrassed myself on the internet, I am going to tag Bookerly to do this book tag. I know that you are watching, I know that you saw this, I know that you laughed at me, so now it's my turn. Bye!